The leader that I chose to study for this assignment was Irina Sendler. And Irina was a quiet force whose clear convictions towards humanity led her to save over 2,500 children from the Warsaw Ghetto and their almost certain deaths at concentration camps during World War II. Irina was born in Poland to a doctor who taught her the value of serving those less fortunate. And these values that her family instilled in her from a young age led to her strong convictions that would ultimately define her life's work. In one interview, Irina spoke about her childhood, saying, "The reason I rescued the children originates from my home. I was educated in the belief that people need to be helped. And help people is what Irina set out to do." Through her emergence as a servant leader, Irina became a pivotal figure in history. Her story began with her efforts as a social worker. Tasked by the Warsaw Social and Health Administration Department, Irina and her coworkers went into the Warsaw Ghetto to preserve sanitary conditions. And it was during this time that Irina's leadership really began. Faced with the horrors of disease, hunger, and murder from the extermination camps, Sendler decided to join a secret society in favor of the Jewish people called Zagoda. During this time, Irina began to recruit collaborators from within the society to begin a rescue project within the ghetto. Irina and her collaborators were able to smuggle over 2,500 children from the ghetto through very creative means. But after all of this hard work and effort, Irina wanted no praise, and this truly is a true testament to her character. Irina saw her work not as a form of heroism, but rather as unquestionable actions that had to be taken in the face of these extreme inhumanities that were occurring. And in this sense, Irina did not seek out a leadership role in the traditional sense of the word, but she emerged as a leader. And her style can be seen to be indicative of servant leadership and was effective due to the characteristics of this leadership form. Servant leadership can be characterized by the ability of the leader to put the needs of their followers and others before themselves. And in one discussion of servant leadership by Franco Gandolfi and Seth Stone, one common misconception of servant leaders was observed that they are seen as being weak or ineffective. But this is a misconception and could not be further from the truth because, in fact, servant leaders are ambitious and driven specifically by humility and discipline to work alongside their followers to reach a common goal. And Irina Sendler exemplifies this nature of a servant leader. Her motives behind her work as a leader were indicative of her ethical and moral values and background, but we can also analyze her servant leadership in terms of her interaction and involvement with her collaborators or her followers. Servant leadership has been identified as the most interactive style of leadership when it comes to leader-follower engagement. And Irina's interactions with her collaborators demonstrate the level of leader-follower engagement that was occurring under her leadership. In one study on the benefits of servant leadership, it was found that servant leaders often model the behaviors they wish to see in their followers. And in this regard, Irina provided the most accurate model of the behaviors she wished to see by working alongside her followers and modeling them herself to meet all aspects of their goal. In the same study, it was also discussed that servant leaders focus on service rather than control. And with this in mind, Irina did not perceive herself as above her followers, but worked alongside of them. Upon the reception of the Most Distinguished Social Worker Award from the International Federation of Social Workers, Irina wrote a letter stating, "With the acceptance of this award, I need to let you know that without the help of many coworkers and other helpful people, I would not have been able to accomplish as much as I did." As a servant leader, Irina knew the value of her followers. She understood that they played a vital role in the accomplishment of the common goal and recognized that she was merely the facilitator and not the solo participant that led to her plan's success. And for all of these reasons, Irina Sendler can be classified as an emergent servant leader. Since first learning of the role that Irina Sendler played in rescuing thousands of children, I have been enamored by this humble woman. In considering the leadership of Irina Sendler, I began to observe many comparisons between her initial actions and my own, as well as her leadership style and the one I wish to have. Irina focused her life's work in service of others. She identified a problem within society and was able to create change through her leadership in order to fix or remedy this problem. In much the same way, I have focused my entire teaching career thus far in service of educational equity and access to the arts, especially for underserved students. Although the physical lives of my students may not be jeopardized by the fear of concentration camps, as the children that Irina worked with were, my students do face many discriminations in the present day due to race and socioeconomic status. And in a similar way, I am passionate in my work of identifying this greater societal problem of educational equity and access to the arts and making efforts to fix this issue through my work, through my service. And this focus on service through my work is quite similar, or is what I saw as being quite similar to Irina's story. With this in mind, I thought it would be beneficial for me to consider how Irina approached leadership through service to others. And I hope that I am able to implement servant leadership in such a way that can move others towards a common goal for the greater good of our children, just as Irina did. Analyzing the life of Irina Sendler has shown me the power of service and the possibilities that can come when leadership is allowed to emerge into a powerful force for the greater good of humanity. Thank you for watching my video on Irina Sendler, and I'm looking forward to watching all of your videos as well.